And we're just waiting for Facebook, and there it is, Facebook and YouTube. So I'm live everywhere. Hi, this is Dr. Brooke Goldner from Goodby Lupus, and I'm happy to be with you here today for Wellness Wednesday. I'm here to answer your questions about health, happiness, recovery, disease reversal, all that good stuff. And I hope that the time I spend with you makes your life better. It means a lot to me, all the folks who've been sending me messages telling me how they're feeling better, that they're following the plan, that they're sticking to it, that they're staying motivated and doing the work because of these sessions. So that means a lot to me, and I'm glad to hear it. I want you to be well. Now, this can't substitute for medical advice. Obviously, I cannot be your doctor. I can't even see you. It's one way. But make sure that you do speak to your doctor if you're going to make any changes in your lifestyle and diet and all that stuff, as I need to say. All righty. I was thinking about a topic for us to talk about today before we hit the Q&A. And the one I wanted to talk about is one that comes up a lot. And that is the topic of having low energy. How many of you guys have low energy? Low energy, right? A lot of people struggle with energy. And so I wanted to talk about the most common issues that create low energy and what you can do to fix it. Now, the most important thing to hit up here before we get into the technical stuff is that a lot of people who are tired all the time are just not getting enough sleep. So everyone wants to talk about diet. Like, what do I eat to have more energy? But you can eat the most beautiful, perfect, healing, healthy diet. And if you're getting 3 hours of sleep a night, I expect you to be tired. Okay. So one of the most important things you can work on is if you're chronically tired is making sure you get enough sleep. And enough sleep might be different for different people. So for example, when I was very sick, so I spent 12 years of my life very sick with lupus. And when I was sick, between the kidney failure and the arthritis and then the blood clots, all that kind of stuff, I needed 12 hours of sleep a night to feel normal. Normal for me, as normal as you can feel with chronic illness, right? 12 hours. My friends used to make fun of me that even if I stayed up till 2 a.m., I would sleep until 2 p.m. The next day because my body automatically needed 12 hours for me to be able to get up and function. As a healthy person, I've been healthy 18 years. I've never had a relapse of lupus or any of the problems that I used to have. And as a healthy person, now naturally, if I do not set an alarm, I'll get between 8 and 9 hours. Now, for some people, that still seems like a lot. That's my view to rest. That's my rest. And if I don't set an alarm clock and I just lay down in the bed, I will wake up sometime between 8 and 9 hours later. That's my sleep amount. So one of the ways that you can try to figure that out for yourself is don't set an alarm. See how long your body wants to sleep. That's the right amount of sleep. And if you do need an alarm, then you should be setting back your going to bed time to try to get that time. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with sleep issues, and those are things we need to work on. In my rapid recovery group, I kind of personalize it, like try to see like what's getting you up. Are you having trouble falling asleep? Are you having trouble staying asleep? You might need to get some help in this area. So sleep hygiene is something you could Google if you have trouble falling asleep, having your bedtime ritual, that kind of sleep stuff, not sleep, all those kind of things that can help you with falling asleep. And then if you wake up in the middle of the night, what is it that wakes you up? If you wake up to pee, fall right back to sleep, fine. If you have anxiety or other things coming up, maybe there's things you need to do on it. Maybe I could do a whole talk on sleep one day, but it's a very important thing that if you're tired, that you get enough sleep. So that's one thing, very, very important. The other thing that can be really hard for people that can create extreme amounts of exhaustion is stress and anxiety. It's not really talked about much, right? But when you're in a state of constant stress or anxiety, it actually uses up a lot of your energy. How many of you ever felt that where you had an emotionally difficult day and you just felt exhausted, like you could just drop, like you'd been running marathons back to back all day? When you are in a state of high stress and anxiety, your adrenals are just pumping, and it's using up everything you have, and it can make you feel exhausted. So most people I see with chronic anxiety are both amped up because they're nervous and exhausted at the same time. So things that can help your moods, help you release stress, can be really important too if you're chronically fatigued. So doing self-care, doing things that help you feel better emotionally, getting the support you need, all very, very important when you're dealing with chronic stress and anxiety. One, just for your own mental health, and two, for your energy. Everyone wants to jump to like, it's a virus, it's this, it's that. For many people, it's the fact that they're constantly in a stressed out mode and it's just using up all the energy you have. So that's another thing that causes chronic fatigue that's just not discussed enough. So please make sure that you're doing self-care and that you're getting help with that. The more difficult things are in your life, the more aggressively you need to go after self-care support, whether it's with a therapist, exercise, whatever it is that helps you feel better. And speaking of exercise, a lot of times when people have been chronically tired for a long time, they think about it as conserving energy. I need to conserve my energy, and they'll stop exercising. The fact is that exercise actually increases energy in the long term. So if you had a really tough workout, you might need to rest. But when people start exercising, they have more energy. I've had a lot of people who've done my rapid recovery group for chronic fatigue, or even private rapid recovery, where that's their biggest issue. And I have one woman that I'm thinking about right now who's in my group, who was in bed all day. She got out of bed just to make her smoothie and then brought the smoothie back with her and laid in bed the rest of the day. And I was like, we have to do more. So smoothies, yes. And I need you to get out of the bed and get on the floor, do some yoga activities. Now we got to get you out and walk. And by the end, she'd been in that bed for years. By the end of 6 weeks, she took a video of herself hiking up and down the streets of San Francisco because she had full energy and she felt good. It was important to get the nutrients in, the self-care, and movement. It is amazing how much better you feel energy-wise when you get that exercise in. Now, if you do exercise, make sure you exercise early in the day, because if you exercise at night, it can make it hard to fall asleep. But it's something that's often neglected. When people get very sedentary, they often tend to be also very low energy. Now, the other reasons that people are chronically tired are malnourishment and dehydration. So if you're malnourished, well, much of the population is malnourished. You're not getting enough vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, antioxidants, all that stuff that helps power up our bodies. Well, that's an important thing to recognize. Make sure that you hypernourish to restore that deficit and to get yourself as healthy as possible. Wherever you're watching me, if you're on YouTube, I have links. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, there's a learn more or my bio link where you can get free resources. And if you go to goodbylupus.com or smoothieshred.com, we have recipes and tutorials on how to hypernourish to start restoring the nutrition and health to yourself. And dehydration. A lot of people are absolutely exhausted because they are so dehydrated. We cannot get all the chemical processes moving that need to move for the body to function properly. And unfortunately, what happens is when people are tired, they often will over-caffeinate, which puts more stress on those adrenals. So it makes you more tired overall. It makes you pee more, and it makes you more dehydrated. And when people start getting in the full hypernourishment levels of water, they find their energy goes up again as well. So these are all things that I work on in things like rapid recovery. And it's one of the reasons why people go from feeling exhausted and sick to vibrant and healthy and energized. They're nourished. They're hydrated. They're fully hydrated. They're doing self-care and working on their stress and anxiety and depression to help themselves emotionally get better. They're doing exercise as tolerated, and we're making sure they get enough sleep. And when you put all that together, you end up with a body that has enough energy, and in time, even high energy, or as one of my clients said, Dr. G energy. All that is possible when you take care of yourself. So that was what I wanted to share with you today. Let's all take good care of ourselves and get some energy. Things are especially stressful now. So make sure you're doing that self-care. Make sure you're prioritizing your sleep. Make sure you don't skip nourishing and hydrating yourself. Do all the things that your body needs. It won't only give you energy, it'll give you better health. All right. So let's go into the questions. I know that's why you're all here. You want to ask me the questions. So let's get over there. All right. Love carbs journey. Can hypernourishment help a rosacea flare? Absolutely. Michelle wants to know, can I put hydrogen water in my smoothies? I would just use regular water. I don't know what the hydrogen water is, but if I haven't tested it, I don't recommend it. Is detoxing while on the protocol okay? I don't know what you mean by that. So people use the word detoxing to mean a lot of things. When I talk about it, I'm usually just talking about that period of time when people feel worse before they feel better, when they make drastic changes to their diet. I'm not sure what you mean by that, so I'm not going to answer that part for you. But if you want to give more details, maybe I will see it and I can help with that. All right, let's see. Let's go over to Facebook. That was YouTube. Okay, so Kim Kagan Live say, Dr. G, I'm so grateful for you. I'm 4 weeks into the Goodbye Lupus protocol. Does healing protocol allow for the following foods? All right, let's see. Oat milk, no. Brown or black rice, no. Raw almonds, no. Raw almond butter, no. It depends on what, let me rephrase this. If you are trying to do like the full Goodbye Lupus protocol all raw, then no to all the things I just said, including tofu, yes to fruit, no to quinoa, definitely no to honey. That's an animal product and it's pure sugar. Raw sweet potatoes, yes, not cooked potatoes. But if you are on maintenance mode, you've already hypernourished yourself and you're trying to maintain your health, then the occasional oat milk should work. Very occasional rice, occasional almonds, as long as you're keeping up your omega-3s, or almond butter, tofu, all that's fine in step down, except for the honey part of it. And then restaurants, what do you do? None. Depends on what your goals are, right? So if you're trying to reverse your disease, then the reason that you eat is to reverse your disease, right? Now, the reason you go to a restaurant, is it because you need a meal, or is it because you want to spend time with people? So if you're going to spend time with people, you can ask them to go to a restaurant that has big, wonderful salads, or you can meet them somewhere else besides a restaurant. Or if you want to go somewhere that doesn't have the foods that you eat beforehand and show up and just have some tea or side salad and tell them you already ate, or call ahead and ask them if they'll make you some stuff. So restaurants are usually pretty awesome at catering to people if you give them some notice. If you look online, you can check the menu in advance and call up and say, hey, can I talk to the chef? And hey, chef, can you make me this? And usually they're very happy to do that. Yeah, it just depends. But there's lots of restaurants that have wonderful options for people who are plant-based and even people who are raw. Even like Cheesecake Factory has like multiple. They have a power, I forget, I'm butchering the name. It's like a power salad or, super power salad, something. They also have like a vegan Cobb salad, and you can easily adjust those ingredients in there to make sure that it's also meeting plan and doesn't have any oils or anything. All right, let's see. Let me see. Alice, Dr. G, I'm grateful for you. I'm on Goodby Lupus protocol. Do I need to take a zinc supplement? Not unless you have low zinc. I get ringing in my ears and a runny nose after I drink the smoothie or salad. Is that a food sensitivity? I've never heard of that as a food sensitivity. So, I mean, a runny nose could be because your food was cold, maybe, but I've never heard of someone get ringing in the ears after a salad. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that. I don't make stuff up. If I don't know, yeah, that's a new one on me. So let me know what you figure out there. Definitely there's people who have those symptoms, but not like I get ringing in my ears after eating a salad. I've never heard of that as a food sensitivity, but that's an easy thing to check. I mean, you can eat each ingredient of your salad separately and see, like, if you eat each ingredient separately and then you suddenly eat the onion and your ears ring, then it's the onion. But that's a new one, Alice. So let me know what you figure out there. The Baker team wants to know, is the food the same for Goodby Lupus and Goodby Autoimmune Disease? Yes. The difference is Goodby Autoimmune Disease protocol includes all of the lifestyle changes, like the self-care and looking after your sleep, doing things to improve moods, all of the emotional aspects and the other areas of your life besides the food is the Goodby Autoimmune protocol. The Goodby Lupus protocol is just the food. All right, Instagram, let's see what you got for me. All right, here we go. Sorry, I got to scroll all the way up. All right. Making money with Michelle. I have high lipoprotein A on my cardio paddle. I was told it's genetic. I'm trying to start the Goodby Autoimmune protocol to treat this and CRS, but I was told to do carnivore for 1 to 3 months to kill off mold. No. That's a scary proposition. You're trying to heal from an illness, and you're going to starve yourself of all the vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients your body would use to repair the immune function, optimize cell function, optimize immune function. So no, don't do that. Don't do that. Just follow the Goodby Autoimmune protocol. That is a way better choice. All right, let's see who else has a question. Okay, 98 Pastor Racer. Hi, I hope you're doing well. I was diagnosed with low white count. Is that a problem? So there's no direct answer for that. It can be, and it might not be, and it might even be a sign that you're healthier than normal. So I know that that's a bit confusing, but that's the reality of it. So reasons people's cell counts can be low. Sometimes it's because of immune suppression. So if your white count is a part of your inflammatory immune system, right? And that's the immune system that responds to things like threats and infections, as well as part of the immune system that would be elevated for things like autoimmune diseases. So for some people, the fact that it's suppressed is a sign that your immune system is suppressed. So that's why it's often a side effect of certain immunosuppressive medications. Sometimes people are taking medicines to bring down their autoimmune disease, and it also lowers their white count. Sometimes they already have immune suppression because of the autoimmune disease itself causing problems. So sometimes it is a problem. Sometimes it's linked to diseases like certain cancers and things. So sometimes it's a problem. Context is everything, though. For some people, they just naturally tend to have a slightly lower white count and they never have a problem. And then for other folks, especially people who have already done my program and have gotten themselves healthy, a low white count actually means that they just have lower inflammation than other people. So for folks who've already done my program where all their labs are now normal, their antibodies have gone away, there's no sign of any disease, and the only abnormality is a low white count and a low BUN, I'll mention in a second, then that tells me these people are super healthy. And that is because even eating inflammatory foods can raise that white count. And so when people bring their inflammation down because they've gotten so healthy, then they will have a baseline white count that's slightly on the low side, but that does not mean that they have low immune function. And I saw a doctor say this and it made me just want to cry because they did not understand the full pathway, unfortunately. So they said that let me get this right. They said that if eating plant-based lowers person's white count, that means that they're immunosuppressed and they're more likely to get sick. But the data shows the opposite. So for folks that I see where their resting white count is lower, if they get an infection, whether it's COVID or flus or anything, usually they're better within 24 hours, 48 max, whereas it used to make them sick for weeks. So their immune system is very responsive. It just rests at a low inflammation level. And then the moment that there's an intruder or something to fix, the white count shoots up and then comes right back down. So instead of constantly being high, it rests at a low level, which means they have low inflammation, but it's very, very responsive to threats. So that's a long answer, but that's why context matters so much. And it's why you can't just shoot that question off into the ether, because without context, you're going to get oftentimes the wrong answer. I've had at least 3 people that I worked with that fully reversed autoimmune diseases, lupus, Sjogren's, and they're healthy. One woman I'm thinking of, she was healthy. She was running 5Ks, pushing a stroller, like just feeling amazing. All lupus symptoms gone, all Sjogren's symptoms gone, photosensitivity gone, feels amazing. And the only abnormal blood count, the only abnormal test was a low white count. And her doctor referred her to an oncologist to rule out cancer. And she texted me freaking out. And I was like, no. You do not have cancer. You don't reverse autoimmune disease and develop cancer. Like you're healthy. And thankfully, she went to the doctor and they said, yeah, you're fine. You don't have any disease. But he scared the crap out of her. And the problem is that doctors are trained to look at every abnormality through the lens of what illness causes this, rather than what are all the things that could cause this, what illness could cause this, what good things can cause this, what neutral things can cause this. They're always looking for disease. And so they are unable to recognize a healthy person in front of them and instead start directing them that it could be that they're actually have a devastating illness like cancer when they don't. Every time that's happened, the person was ruled out that they had no cancer and they were actually healthy, but they went through emotional devastation and freak out in the meantime because they got that referral. So complicated question, lots of answers to it. So hope that helps you and that it's a good reason that your white count is low. Okay. All right, Nuffla wrote, I'm struggling to find my why because I have no diseases even at 70 years old. Can you help? Well, if you have no diseases, then it doesn't sound like that you have a why. So for those of you who haven't heard that expression before, I call your why your big motivator to change your life. To do anything hard, we need motivation, right? We need a push, especially because it's hard, right? You don't want to do hard things. Your brain's actually programmed to try to preserve energy and to do as little as possible to maintain, our equilibrium. So if you're trying to do something hard, like give up all the food that you normally would eat and change to a different way, you need a big reason, right? It's why it's hard for me to help somebody who's healthy, because if you feel fine, why would you change anything, right? Now, when people feel sick, they show up and they go, okay, I'll do whatever you say, help me, right? But if you feel good and you don't have any health problems, then my question is really, so why do you want to do it? So it depends. For some people, the reason they change their diet is they want increased longevity. They've shown that eating plant-based diets actually increases the length of the telomeres of your DNA, which actually, that means that it reverses the aging process, because those shorten as you get older. You reverse the aging process, you get more life. So it could be, I just want to live longer and healthier. It could be, I want better energy. It could be, I want better fitness. It could be, I want to be a better role model. But really, I'd be digging in with you if we were talking to see, like, why did you come to this Q&A, and what is it that you want for your life that you don't have? And that would be what your why is. What is it that you don't have in terms of your health or your life that you want, that this will be the path to get there? That's why I always tell people that get your why clear in your head, and that way you remember every bite of vegetables, every sip of smoothie, every sip of water is a step closer to that big goal that you want, right? You got to have that why. We had a gentleman, Chris, who did my rapid recovery group with lupus, and he was bedridden, so sick. And his dream was to go to Europe. And so every bite of vegetables, every sip of smoothie, every sip of water was Europe, a step closer to Europe. The plane tickets are going to come. I'm going to do this, right? And actually, in our Smoothie Shred Facebook group, is our free online group, smoothieshred.com. You can access it. In our group, he posted where he went to Venice, and he was on his feet all day long, and he posted pictures of himself going up and down these hills and traveling all over. No pain, no fatigue, no photosensitivity. He felt amazing. He lived his dream. His why was the lodestar to point him in the direction you wanted to go. And that way, all of the foods you're eating in hypernourishment are getting you to the dream, right? Then it becomes fun. So you just have to figure out what you're pointing to at, all of you. And then that'll be, then you just think of all the food as like, eat this to get there, right? That's the motivation. All right, let's see. Let's go over to YouTube again. Let's see here. Way to go, Sharon. Rhonda wants to know, are the sinuses as slow to heal as psoriasis? It depends what you're dealing with. I don't know what's going on with your sinuses. So inflammation should come down. Now, what order your body chooses to get rid of inflammation, that is, that's dependent on the person. But if you have infection, if you have a clog, if you have something mechanical obstructing, then that's going to be more than just nutrition. If it's allergy, sometimes allergy goes away when people eat really healthy. And then for other folks, there's certain things they're always going to be allergic to, and it helps them have less of a reaction, but they still have a reaction. So yeah, I just don't have enough information to give you a clear answer on that. Let's see. Okay. Zahara wants to know, what would be a substitute of chia seed in a smoothie? I'm allergic to seeds and cannot consume chia or flaxseed. So what I've found generally is that if someone has an allergy, usually it's to one or the other, or it might be to some part of the seed. So sometimes people who are allergic to the flax or chia seed, they can still consume the oil if it's cold pressed and filtered, either flax or chia oil. So that would be my first choice, would be to look at those things. There are other options out there, but it becomes more complicated. So like algae is a good source of omega-3, but most of the algae supplements out there are super expensive, and they often will dissolve the omega-3 in sunflower oil or safflower oil, which is really high omega-6, and it ruins the whole thing. So it becomes a bit more difficult. You definitely want to take out anything that's high omega-6 just to make sure you're not, that whatever omega-3s you get, you keep. But it might take us some work to find the thing that'll work perfectly for you. That can take some time. Hopefully one of those things works for you. All right, let's see. Let's see here. AlphaDriver says, I can have arugula in abundance, but I can't find kale. Is it okay to use arugula and spinach? Yes, absolutely. Those are fine. Those are both high nutrient. You don't have to have all different kinds of vegetables. I know there's a lot of stuff out there where they tell people they have to eat the rainbow every day. It's not necessary, and it's not even practical. Like, what animal eats the rainbow every day? We all have like certain things that we eat every day, depending on where we live, the climate, right? It's not needed. And the super high levels of nutrients that you get from the cruciferous and things like spinach, they are so high nutrient, they actually have all the nutrition in them that eating lower nutrient foods of many different colors will give you. So if you have some high nutrient vegetables that are cruciferous, or you have spinach or any of those things, and you can get them easily and you can use them, then you're good. Consistency matters more than variety. Okay. Let's see. So Susan says, my eczema went away after the Goodby Lupus protocol about 2.5 months, over a year ago now. I did the protocol for 5 months. My skin yellow-orange, but I have scleroderma ? Weird it didn't heal that. Does it take longer? Okay, so a few things. So one, good that you got that eczema to go away. That shows inflammation's going away. So if any of you are asking if it helps eczema, absolutely. Skin having a yellow or orange tint shows that you've got your beta carotene, and that's normal. We should all have that tint to our skin. Is actually a sign of good health. When I see people who don't have a tint, then I know that they are malnourished. So I don't know if you can tell from the lighting. On Instagram, I always look kind of orange, but on my YouTube stream, I don't. I think it depends on my phone camera. But yeah, I have a year-round tan. It's beta carotene, and it's perfectly healthy. But scleroderma does absolutely respond. So it might be that you didn't give enough time. It might be that you didn't get your dosage up high enough. It might be that you added other things that you maybe shouldn't be eating. There are anywhere that there's scar tissue, I expect it to stay, but scleroderma absolutely responds. I mean, I've had people even with late stage scleroderma who couldn't open their mouths or raise their eyebrows, who could do that by the end of our group. So it absolutely helps. And they had measurements done by their therapy team who found that the skin elasticity went up 20% in 2 weeks, like they were testing and measuring. So absolutely it helps scleroderma. And the skin is the last organ to receive nutrition, so you might need time. You got the eczema to heal up, but you still have this other issue. I would keep going. All right, let's see here. All right, Facebook. Let's look here. All right, Anissa McQueen. I had a kidney transplant 6 years ago. My doctor's now saying I'll need to be on dialysis within the next month. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. I have purchased a rush appointment scheduled due for December. I'm hoping to get started and get sooner. It's urgent for me. Seeing before it's not possible. What are steps to take for a kidney transplant patient looking to heal? I think I scheduled you today, actually. The name looks familiar. So rush appointments are to get in within 8 weeks. And that's the best I can do right now, especially considering Thanksgiving week in November. My kids are off. So I promised them this year that I would take off when they're off. I'm doing my best to do that. So yes, so that right now, that is the earliest that I have is 8 weeks out. If you're starting now, the most important thing is that you avoid all animal products and that you do low potassium version of the nutrients that are on plan for the Goodby Lupus protocol. And that's the most important thing, those two things. And if you've got to be really careful though. I would start with really low amounts. Don't try to meet the full plan. It's going to be too much. Start with the amounts that you can like start low and then get blood tests regularly to make sure that your potassium's not too high, all that kind of stuff. You have to be very careful with this. So I'm sorry that you're so sick. You can always message me. My reminders have my number in them. So you could always text me if you want to check here and there to see if there's cancellation. I'm doing the best I can to get people in as quickly as possible. Look forward to seeing you soon. Arlene, does this help with enlarged prostate? Yes, we've had people improve their prostate function and even their prostate markers quickly using our plan. Let's see. Facebook. Okay, let's see here. Let me try to say the name. So Shan. I'm so sorry. Shamugapriya. My daughter's 17 years old with lymphadenitis, ANA positive, taking Plaquenil today, her ESR was 18, vitamin D is 8, vitamin B12 is 233. Need your advice. Well, one, you definitely want to get on the Goodby Lupus protocol, and two, she desperately needs to restore her vitamin D. The immune system will not function normally with low vitamin D. So you want to do a loading dose for vitamin D, 50,000 IU, and then you can either continue that once a week, or you can do about 2,000 IU to 5,000 IU a day to get that up. It'll help bring down those numbers as well. Vitamin D is really important, and I've seen people get stuck getting better when it was low. So make sure you take care of that. I hope she's feeling better soon. And Mira, I reversed my Hashimoto's on your protocol. Yay! My husband is convinced I'm not getting relief from my fatigue or getting more defined at the gym because I'm on an oral contraceptive. Is that true? No, I don't believe that that's the case. But I'd be looking at all the things I talked about today. So stress levels and sleep, all of those are really important. And then at the gym, if you want to get more defined, you got to lift heavy. A lot of ladies especially are afraid to lift heavy. They think they're going to become enormous. You're not. I lift heavy and I'm still small. I'm just defined. Okay. So, you have to eat a lot to fill out your body to large size. So you might just have to go more aggressively at the gym to get that definition that you're looking for. My husband, Thomas, also does consultations for people who are stuck. I mean, if you have a personal trainer at your gym or something, use them and see if you can get results. If you're stuck or you want it to be using the nutrition that we teach, you can always book with my husband. Now, he is available more because I haven't really advertised his availability that much. And so people can usually get in right away if you need specific stuff about that, either general inflammation disorders or things related to fitness and weight loss and muscle building. Let's see here. Pamela, my sister recently was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis. Can your protocol help with this? Yes, we've had incredible results in rapid recovery for these illnesses. I had a gentleman in his 70s get off the double lung transplant list in 5 weeks because his lungs were so healthy again. It's pretty amazing, actually. Let's see here. Anne-Marie, what can be part of the gallon of water? Herbal tea, coffee, other? No, just water. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let me go over to Instagram again. I don't want to neglect my Instagrammers. Let's see. You're welcome, Diana. Thank you. Robin, what's the real deal with fruit in the Goodby Autoimmune protocol? Can I have an apple between veggies? Is it only to sweeten smoothies? I'm on low histamine, so having a hard time being satiated without avocado. It's a bummer when you can't do avocado because it's so filling. You might want to add more chia pudding or something because satiety is linked to fat intake. And so that's hard to do when you're on low histamine. Fruit, I try to limit it as just a flavoring because the protocol works consistently with no fruit. And it works most of the time with some fruit as long as it's kept to a minimum. And that's why we always recommend like 25% of your diet or less. If you're not doing smoothies, you want to eat an apple here and there, that should work fine. But the point is to keep it to a minimum. I like to use it as a flavoring rather than as a meal, as a good way of starting, just to keep it limited that way. All right. All right, Jane's Bit. My husband's A1C is now 5.8 after whole food plant-based eating almost 2 years off statins and mainly diabetic meds. Got labs today, and then it just cuts off. So I'm guessing that this is a really good thing, especially if he's gotten off of the statins. Normally, when people do my program, the A1C within a month is going to be 5.4 or less. So if you're not doing this, this is the thing. And Miss Liano, I'm breastfeeding. I'd like to start this protocol. Will it affect my milk supply? Can it make my baby gassy? It's the best thing you could do because you're going to start nourishing your baby, right? All the nutrients are going to go in to the baby. And that's really important. The omega-3s, the vitamins and minerals, all those nutrients are fabulous for your child. So absolutely, I would do that. Will it make your baby gassy? Not usually. I mean, my babies didn't get gassy from it. But I mean, we can't predict a human, so you just try and see. Then I remember, I nursed both of my kids until they were 2. And I made a lot of milk. So I used to donate my milk to many families, actually. I'm still in touch with some of those families, believe it or not. And one of the moms used to tell me how she kept my milk on the top shelf. Literally, it was the top shelf because it was like, it had like a light green tint to it. And there was always a golden layer of omega-3 fats at the top. It was like this gorgeous, healthy milk, and her baby thrived on it. So they used to come with like coolers, and I'd fill up, so I could fill up my freezer in a week, just full of milk. So it's really good. It's really healthy for your baby and you. You nourish yourself, it's going to restore your health, and it gives them great nutrients as well. So yeah, I've helped a lot of moms get healthy while pregnant, get healthy while nursing. It's always the right time to get healthy for your baby. They need you. They need you to be healthy. Let me see here. Do you use vitamin C in your face? I see you have it on your Amazon list. Not consistently. I have at times. It can help some people with who are trying to use natural ways to help their skin get healthier. I don't do too much on my face, actually. I like to just kind of leave her alone and maybe just use some natural oils. But if I do use products, they'll be the ones that are there. But in general, I find if you're really healthy, your skin is healthy. But sometimes people want to accelerate that. So vitamin E can help. Vitamin C can help with like sun damage, stuff like that. I mean, sun damage happens even if you're healthy. Like I got lots of freckles naturally. And because I work out outside every day and I like to be by the pool. So it can help with things like that if you want to do something. And that's not health related. It's just kind of natural. Over time, it kind of happens, Let me see. Casey Star, where do you want questions submitted? You just asked one and I see it. So you can ask me over Instagram. You can ask me over Facebook or YouTube. One more on Instagram. I'll move over back to YouTube again. Let's see here. All right. I'm sorry to hear your daughter's in the ER. Amazing plants. Let me see if we can find something novel. Something novel. What do you got, Instagram? Instagram has like every someone joined. I'm trying to get through all that. There's a second question of the same question. All right, Rennie3 wants to know, how do you reverse rheumatoid arthritis? You're going to use the same protocol that reverses all the different autoimmune diseases. So the Goodby Lupus protocol is the way to go. Okay, so if you prefer to read it, I have a book, Goodby Lupus. If you want to learn about it in other ways, I give away all the information. I know I have a lot of videos, but I have a lot of them here. I have classes at goodbylupus.com. I have articles at goodbylupus.com. We have a lot of information ever. If you go to smoothieshred.com and you join our Facebook community, we have a guide section that explains it in detail. And then the Goodby Autoimmune Disease protocol is to then add all of the other wellness aspects that people need, like their sleep and their self-care and all the emotional work as well. So I have those in books and then all the different resources so that you can get started and you can get healthy as quickly as possible. Rheumatoid arthritis reverses and people feel better quickly. You just got to take the actions every day until you do, okay? Forrest Chickadee wants to know, what does your family eat for holiday dinners? That depends. I mean, we're always plant-based, so that never changes. Like, I will never again eat any animal products. My kids have never eaten animal products in their life. So there are certain things that just will, that's always. We still eat all of our healthy foods. So we have our smoothies, we have our salads, we have all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I'll make fancy raw things that maybe are a little bit, definitely off the regular protocol, like making raw cheesecake, but that has nuts in it, like a lot of nuts and dates and things like that. And then we will have some cooked plant-based stuff too. So like for Thanksgiving coming up, my son Solomon's favorite is my butternut squash soup. So I'll make that and make green beans and things like that. So there's ways to cook plant-based foods that are healthy or not as bad as what's out there. And then we also do what I call recreational eating. Since we are all healthy people, and I've been healthy for 18 years now. Woohoo! Sometimes I will eat recreationally. So sometimes we will go out somewhere that is vegan, but not oil-free or something. And, again, we'll still have all of the good stuff that day, but we might eat something that has some oil or sugar in it as well. But we try to make our holidays about family time and togetherness and fun, not about food. So, like, for example, for winter break coming up, we're not planning the restaurant tour. We're planning all the activities that we want to go to. Like, we're looking up online to see fun things that are going on all around us that we can go to, and things that we can look forward to rather than sweets to look forward to. Highest rates of heart attacks all year round is Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And people just wait and wait and wait to like eat all that junk and drink all that alcohol, and then the heart just can't take anymore. I'd rather do other things that really focus on your happiness. So if you're on the raw protocol, if you're eating the Goodby Lupus protocol, then plan the activities. You might want to skip Thanksgiving dinner if it's going to be at someone's house with a big turkey in the middle of the table. Like, we don't do that, and we don't go to Thanksgiving dinners at other people's houses that are going to have all that. It's upsetting for us. Like, there's a shift that happens where things that you might feel like you're missing out, it shifts to like, oh my God, they're killing themselves. And that's not a fun holiday. So we'd rather go to people's houses for the karaoke and the throw the football around or something like that than go for the eating side, or host your own. That's plant-based. I mean, when we lived in Austin, we used to do plant-based potlucks, especially for things like Thanksgiving, where I knew a lot of people weren't anywhere near their families, and we'd do a plant-based potluck, and we would open it up to all of our neighbors and our friends. And whoever wanted to drop by could bring something. And a lot of people weren't even plant-based or vegan or anything. And they would come and they would ask me like, oh, what can I make? And I'd give them ideas, and they would make something and enjoy it. So there's just so many ways to have fun and enjoy your holiday and still take good care of your health. And it's no fun to have the holidays go by without having your health, right? All right, let's see what YouTube's got going on over here. All right, let's see here. Health for Life Cooking wants to know if I worry about plastics. It's not on my mind on a daily basis. I don't use a lot of plastics, but there are some. I mean, this thing is plastic. I mean, it's BPA free, but it's a plastic thing. Sometimes I'll buy water if I'm out and I need it, and it's in a plastic bottle. But in general, I try not to use very much of it, but I don't worry about them because I haven't seen it cause the damage. I mean, I think in terms of the environment, it's important, but a lot of times people get really caught up in like, I was in a Q&A once where someone said they thought that you shouldn't drink too much water because there's microplastics. And this woman doesn't even do disease reversal. She was a gynecologist that had no exposure or understanding of disease reversal, but just kind of made the comment on the fly. And it was alarming to me because I'm like, I help people reverse disease every day, and they're drinking, 2.8 to 3.8 liters of water a day, and their diseases are going away. So obviously it's not harming them. So anything I teach is results-based and not theory-based. So if I see something be a problem, I'm on it, right? Like, I saw vitamin D problems causing issues, and I started bringing up vitamin D. I saw people getting iodine starved and having thyroid issues. I brought up iodine. But if I don't see a problem, like if someone's reversing their disease and they're using plastic water bottles and they reverse their disease successfully, then it's not a problem. And then I don't bring it up as an issue. So in terms of like disease reversal and health and stuff, I have not seen that be an issue. Okay. But for environmental reasons, like the plastic islands in the ocean, those things do vex me. That's a whole different thing. That's not what you're here for. All right, let's see. All right. Outdoor fan said, are people with no teeth confined to smoothies since they can't chew salads very well? I would say that if you can't chew, then smoothies would definitely be the right thing to do so you don't choke. 33 Dubs Freed, if you're doing 3 hypernourishment smoothies a day, how do you know when to ease up? Well, it doesn't matter how many you do a day. It matters how much food you're getting. Some people can get all the food into a small amount of smoothies. Some people need a lot of them. You want to always keep hypernourishing, but if you're talking about when do you add other things, when your symptoms are gone, when you're in full remission, then you can loosen up if you're trying to do a strict protocol. Hi, Audrey. It was great to meet you too. I loved being at the live conference. I'd missed that so much. All right, let's see. So no honey, Barbara. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, Aditha wants to know, how do we know if a lupus flare went away because of steroids or because of the Goodby Lupus protocol? Ah, that is one of the hardest ones, right? If you've just increased your medicines and you changed your diet and you feel better, what do? First, you celebrate. Because if you feel better, hallelujah. Whether it's medicines or nutrition or both, hallelujah, happy dance. These are good problems, okay? The most important thing is that you feel better and you're not in a flare. Like, so first we celebrate, yay, right? Then the next step is to say, okay, now what is the reason? What do we do next? So that sometimes takes a little bit more time to piece out, and that's okay, right? So if you're in full remission and you did the Goodby Lupus protocol and you're also on medication, okay, good, you're in remission. Now, usually doctors will make adjustments once you're in remission. So you said they increase the steroids. Well, steroids should only be used in emergencies, right? Because long-term steroids can do a lot of harm to the body. They can melt your bones, they can cause all sorts of problems. So usually when someone's in a remission, the first thing your doctor is going to do is start to reduce the steroids, right? And by the way, I'm not saying never to use them. Steroids can be life-saving. If someone's in kidney failure or having issues, I mean, sometimes it's life-saving or you can't move because of pain. I'm just saying it's not for daily use forever. It's not a vitamin, right? It's something that you use in emergency and then you have to find a way to taper, right? So normally your doctor will taper the steroids first. And so you keep doing the Goodby Lupus protocol so that you don't have too much rebound inflammation every time you lower a dose of steroids, and you let your doctor do the steroid taper, right? And you talk to your doctor on how quickly to taper. That depends usually on how long you've been on it. Longer you've been on it, usually the slower you need to come off of it because the body's used to it now, okay? So you stay on your Goodby Lupus protocol while they taper you off the steroids. Now, if you're still in remission after the steroid taper, very good news, right? So we celebrate again, woohoo, right? We're now no longer having a flare, feeling good on the Goodby Lupus protocol and whatever other medicines you take. Now you talk to your doctors again and you negotiate with them. Some folks have done my program and they decided, you know what? I don't know what's causing it. I'm just staying where I am. This nutrition is working. These medicines are working. I don't want to mess with it. Their doctors often don't want to mess with it. And I think that's legit. Everyone can choose their path. I'm not anti-medicine. I'm anti-disease and suffering. Okay. A lot of folks, though, they want to be off medicine. So that's when they start talking to their doctor about, you know what, I think my diet's really helping me. I want to see if I can minimize my meds. And you talk to them about the safest way to test and taper those things. And your doctor can help you with that. Remember, they work for you. So even if they don't like it, you can negotiate. I had to negotiate with my own doctors, and I was a doctor already, about how I was going to get off my medicines because they were scared. I was a scary patient. I'd always get to the brink of death and come back. So they were always nervous about me. But it took me a year to get off all my medicines. And once I was off, though, it's been 17 years of no medication, no relapse. So I know it's the protocol, right? So celebrate, enjoy it, and then work with your doctors on the medical side of it. And listen, if somebody needs a small amount of medicine to function normally, but they're not actively sick, I still take it as a win. The goal is to minimize your need for medicine. Same with Hashimoto's. I've helped a lot of people reverse Hashimoto's, and some people get off of all the medicine and their thyroid works perfectly. And others, some of the thyroid was permanently damaged and they need a little medicine, but they don't have a disease anymore, right? So the most important thing for all of you is that you're well and you feel good and you can live your life. That's the most important thing. But yes, I call that good problems. When people are in full remission and then they're like, I wonder if I need my medicine or not. Those are good problems. Let's see here. What time is it? Okay, we still have time. Let me see. All right. So Laura had a problem. She said she was on a raw diet. I ate a pound of greens a day with kale and bananas, and I got more colds, allergies, acne, soft nails, and dry skin. Okay. So this is important. Is that, first of all, sometimes things are not from your diet. What I often see is as soon as someone changes their diet, anything wrong, they blame on the diet. Anything good, they thank God or something. They don't like, it's a weird thing where it's like the moment someone doesn't feel good or has a problem, they blame the diet, and it's not always the diet. So sometimes it's other things. So for example, like soft nails and acne, other things, sometimes it can be from other things that you're eating. So that is diet related, but sometimes it can be also related to medicines or supplements or stress or other things. Like there's so many things that can impact. The other thing you didn't mention is whether or not you are actually having all the omega-3s. So I don't just teach people to eat a pound of greens a day, but also to make sure you're getting your omega-3s, that you're getting your water, and that you actually jumpstart your health. So there's medicines that can cause those symptoms. There's diseases that can cause those symptoms. But I can tell you for sure that when people do my protocol, that's not something that happens. Especially, I mean, you have to do it correctly, but it's just not something that happens. Every time I work with people, especially in rapid recovery, what they find is their nails are growing like crazy. The hair is growing like crazy. You can't keep up with the hair. That's why I'm always like, oh my God, it's like, oh, it's like everything just grows. And that's a sign of good health, right? I remember in high school, I went to get my first manicure for the junior prom. And the person at the salon doing my nails said she'd never seen such weak, brittle nails. They were peely and soft. On a young person. She said I had the nails of an old sick lady, which sucked. But you know what? I had lupus, I had kidney failure, I was on high dose steroids, I was taking chemotherapy, and my nails were weak, and I had hair falling out by the handful. It was clogging my drains, it was everywhere. But I was sick and taking a ton of medicines. But since being healthy, I now can grow my nails. I actually use clippers to cut them back because they just grow so, and they're hard and they don't peel and they're strong, and the hair grows like weeds, right? So when you're healthy, those things all happen. So I would just say whatever you're doing, either there was something else that was causing problems, or you weren't doing enough yet and didn't give yourself enough time. But if you do the full protocol, that will clear up your skin, will get you really healthy, will get those nails growing in. All of those things happen when you're healthy, okay? So that's really important. The thing about nails and hair is those are the cells in your body that are replicating, reproducing, and growing the fastest, right? Your liver is not changing as quickly. Your kidney's not changing as quickly, but you're constantly growing new hair and new nails, right? And so when you're really nourished, you're going to see the impact really big in those areas because they're constantly absorbing nutrients to try to grow. So it's a good sign that you are getting really nourished, actually, is when the nails are growing in and they're stronger, and when the hair is growing in, all that. So keep going, Laura. Don't quit just because of that. If there's other things going on, let's find it. But it's definitely not the kale that made your nails soft. Like, that's not a real thing. That wouldn't do that. Don't blame the kale. The kale's innocent. All right, let's see here. All right. Stephanie says, I have a family of 4. We're raising our kids vegan for a year. My 23-month-old son's growth has stalled. Would appreciate advice on what he might need to add. People are suggesting I add dairy and yogurt back in. Based off of what? I want you to, so first of all, I want you to ask whoever said that to show you the studies where that makes sense, because there is no studies that show that adding dairy to a baby improves their health. There are studies that show it increases the risk of obesity and diabetes, though. So first of all, that's silliness. The other part is, I don't know what you're feeding your family, but the issue with your child, your 23-month-old, might not have to do with their diet. Again, people start blaming diets, whereas there are people who have extreme malnourishment who still grow in height. Right. There are people who are eating nothing but ramen and fast food. I know, because I used to work with folks like that, and they're growing. Right. So, and they're malnourished, so malnourished. So it's not necessarily because of the food. I would have a full workup to make sure that there's not something else going on. They might have a growth spurt that's about to happen. But the most important thing is that they're on a plant-based diet that is nourishing. So that they have raw foods. I mean, my kids started their smoothies out of the bottle, 4 or 5 months. So they have their raw foods. They're eating fresh fruits and vegetables. And the other foods that they eat are plant-based foods. So cooked vegetables, grains, beans. Don't give them processed stuff. Don't give them, Impossible burgers and stuff. Give them real whole foods. It's the healthiest thing you can do for your kids. My kids have been plant-based their entire lives, and they're both really tall. All right. And their brains are fully developed. They're both really smart. They're high functioning people. So just, I know as soon as it's funny because I just said that in the last question. As soon as there's an issue, people want to blame the diet, and it's not always the diet. So make sure he's nourished. But if he is nourished and he's eating a nourishing plant-based diet, then it's not the diet. And it might be that there's a growth spurt coming. It might be that there's some other issue going on. Sometimes it's also genetics. Sometimes I'll see families where everybody's short, and then they're worried that their kid is short. And I'm like, you're short, kid is short. Like that's, some of it's, genetics. But I'd be looking into also, if it's abnormal, looking into other medical things that could be going on and just nourishing him. Don't freak out and then give him things that make him sick or make him malnourished. Like people might want to blame your diet, but it's not being plant-based doesn't cause that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's an important thing to understand. And, it's people are always looking for some kind of data to prove that eating plant-based or vegan is harmful, but it's just not. The data is always the opposite. And the one thing that someone has brought up before, and it's just a horrific example, is that there was an article once where a vegan couple gave their newborn soy milk and the baby passed away. That's not because the baby was vegan. That's because the parents were just completely misinformed about what babies need. Babies need breast milk. Babies need breast milk. They can't live off of soy milk. Like that's not appropriate. But it wasn't because the kid's vegan. Right. And somebody else commented on my Instagram. This one was kind of funny, though, that the evidence that humans are carnivores and not herbivores is that we need breast milk. But herbivore mammals all need breast milk. Like that's normal. So no, the health should be good if you're giving them. You should be really proud of yourself if you switch your family plant-based. Really proud of yourself. So again, it might not be the diet at all. It might be something else going on. It might be that he or she is okay and they're about to have a spurt. But without actually getting to talk to you and examining the kid, I can't really give you much more than that. It's the best thing you can do for your kids, guys. Best thing you can do for your kids. Let's see. Does Goodby Autoimmune protocol work for the worst case of ulcerative colitis? Yes, I've worked with people with late stage UC and Crohn's and saved them from colon surgeries that were actually on the books. So yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes we have to work together, though, to be able to do it in a way that your colon can handle. Because sometimes if there's, chronic diarrhea, that's going to be really hard if nothing's staying in. So sometimes we have to slow down and work on the gut inflammation in a slower way and then get the diet going. But absolutely you can. All right. Let's see. Mark Hart, yes, this has helped with grand mal seizures. Let me see here. Somebody who's trying to heal Crohn's and colitis, but feels low energy when they're consuming smoothies and water all day. You might just need more, or you might need more sleep. Your body repairs itself when it's sleeping. So make sure you get enough sleep for all the work it's trying to do, and make sure you're eating enough. Remember, it's unlimited. Sometimes people want to have like 3 small cups of smoothie a day and they're going to get better. No, you got to make sure that you are fully nourished and that you're eating all day long. Let me see. Trying to go quickly for the last couple of minutes. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to pick some quick ones for the last one. Kenna says that the smoothies act like an appetite stimulant for me and I get more hungry. Is it normal? No, usually as the stomach gets more full, then the hunger goes down. So I'd be asking you about, is it hunger or cravings? Is it that you have your smoothie and your belly is full, but your brain's like, I'm not high yet. Give me something else. But you can drink smoothie until you're full. And if you're hungry, that means you can get a higher dose in, which is awesome. Higher dose means faster healing. So all that is a good thing. Let me see here. So Kathy says, I've been on an anti-inflammatory diet and smoothies for 4 weeks. I have Hashimoto's and my TPO antibodies dropped from 86 to 9 and my TSH from 44 to 33. Will my TSH continue to drop? Really want my thyroid working. So the fact that the antibodies are going away is you saying goodbye to Hashimoto's. The TSH dropping will be dependent on how much thyroid function you have. I hope that you're taking thyroid hormone, though, because if your TSH is 33, your body is starved of thyroid hormone, and it's better to have the thyroid hormone from a pill than not to have it. It's the battery pack of your whole body. So The goal is that you are well and you have enough thyroid hormone. And if your TSH keeps dropping, that means that your thyroid is coming back online. So you watch that and you watch your symptoms, and hopefully you get to the point where you don't even need the thyroid hormone either. But if your TSH is that high, I'm a bit concerned that you must be really exhausted and not feeling well. Jeff says, you helped me with your smoothies. Thank you. You're welcome. Let me see. All right, one more over here. Let's see. All right. SF Sickness. Will your program help high blood pressure? If I eat well and exercise, but I have a hard time calming down since I had to stop running, is walking enough with your protocol? It will bring down your high blood pressure. Absolutely. And I don't really know why you stopped running. Usually, if you're not in pain and your body likes it, it's a good thing. But yes, I've helped a lot of people whose blood pressure would not come down on any other way, including cooked plant-based, and my Goodby Autoimmune protocol works. So absolutely. Okay, everybody, that hour seems like it went really quickly. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm sending out my love to all of you. I hope that my Q&As and my time spent with you is making a difference for you. The best way to say thank you is to go take care of yourself and then send me messages, tell me how good you're feeling. And that'll be the best thank yous in the world. Okay. So I hope all of you take great care of yourself. I will see you next week, same time. And hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye, everybody. YouTube and Facebook.